So there's often a purpose for our pain though, right? It's not for no reason at all, like the inner strength is required. And usually if we're faithful and we stand strong, we're better off and stronger at the end. But we might not see the purpose right away. We might not see it in the middle of it. Sometimes it is towards the end. But I just believe that through the power of the Holy Spirit, that you and I can remain faithful and continue through this situation. And so Paul continues in verse 17. He says, then, when you and I remain faithful, then Christ will make his home in your hearts as you trust in him. Your roots will grow down into God's love and keep you strong. And so the roots of any plant or weed or tree, the roots have to stay in the ground. In order for that plant to survive, the roots have to stay in the ground. Once you and I see like a plant, a flower, a weed, once we pull it up out of the ground, it's beginning its process of death because the roots have to be in the ground. So once it's pulled up, it's beginning to die. So it doesn't matter the size of the tree or any type of plant, like once the roots are out. And so I have major concerns for us as a church because it's too easy to give up. It's too easy to give in when we're going through struggles. Because when things get tough, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to give up. I mean, we quit dieting, we quit exercise, we quit saving money, we quit following a spending plan, we quit like trying to get out of debt. I mean, we stop attending church because we get out of the habit of it. I mean, some of us will even walk away from faith entirely. And so I have concerns about this, and I love that Jesus taught about this same concept. He taught a parable in Matthew 13. We're not going to show it or have it on the screen, but boy, I would encourage you to dig into this on your own in your own time and study. So he talked about roots. He talked about seeds, like a farmer and seeds and planting. He talked about farmers and soil. And so Jesus began to tell this parable, and he was talking about the farmer. So a farmer in this time, he would wear like a burlap bag, like a strap with a pouch on it, and he would take seed from the pouch, and he would walk through, the field, and he would be spreading seed. And so Jesus begins to tell the story about 4 different scenarios. So the farmer would throw seed, and the first types of seed would fall on a path, so like a sidewalk. And what would happen is the birds would come down and eat that seed. So it didn't fall in the area where the field was, but some of it got tossed out onto the path, and it was eaten. The second type fell on areas that had shallow soil. It was very rocky. So when the plant began to bud and the roots went down, the plant was unable to send its roots deep into the rocky soil. The third type got thrown to where there was an area where there was thorns and thistles. And so that plant began to grow, but because of all the thorns, it got choked out. And there was a fourth type that Jesus talked about. He said it was a seed that got thrown onto fertile soil. And that seed produced 30, 60, or even 100x growth in its lifetime. So the question that I have for you is, which one are you? Which seed are you? Where you're at right now? Because you know what? It's easy to give up. It's very easy to give up. But if we're being honest with ourselves, and you're like, Pastor Aaron, that is very, very penetrating. Like, it cuts deep to my soul. If you are being honest with yourself, and you're like, bro, I'm like 1, 2, or 3. I want to be fertile soil, but I don't know that I'm that. So first off, thank you so much for your honesty. I mean, right, to me, when we're honest before the Lord, he can take that truth and say, all right, that's great, that's honest. And so here's the deal. He's not going to keep you in that 1, 2, or 3. He wants to transform and move us to fertile soil. So why not today? Like if you would say, I'm on the path, I'm getting choked out by thorns, like I'm scared, I don't know that my faith is deep-rooted like what you're talking about. Okay, so now that we're going to transform, we're going to move to fertile soil. Why not today? Like, so that's part of my role. Like, we're going to dig up and we're going to move you to a different spot. I just believe that might be what the Father is doing, because roots grow down deep when we remain faithful. So we've got to remain faithful through the situation and the struggle. And so I don't know about you, but when I read something like that, I'm going, that's great. How? Like, how do I do that? So please tell me. So I want to walk through this a little bit. And so quite simply, it means still believing even in the middle of the struggle, even in the middle of the trial, like even in the middle of the storm, like like it's trying again after the miscarriage. Like that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about real life. Like, this is real life. It's starting over after you had a business fail. After you closed the business, you're like, I got to do this again. This is another business. This is another opportunity. I mean, that takes guts. That takes toughness. To me, it's getting back involved in church after you've experienced church hurt. Like, that's hard. It's difficult. To me, it's letting the Lord heal our heart, because we might get married again. Right? There are significant things. And after we go through those struggles, usually we feel alone, we're hurt, we're angry, we're just tired of being in the storm and in the battle. And to me, whenever we want to have our roots deepened, it requires faithfulness. Like, it does. It requires discipline and toughness. And there's always going to be some type of sacrifice that we're going to have to make. Because I don't think that we can expect to remain the same and then cry out to God and think that he's going to do something different. God's like, no, I don't want you to remain the same. Like, I want to transplant you. I want to move you into a deeper place of commitment. Or on our part, it might be us transplanting ourselves, going, hey, I can't remain in that sinful lifestyle. I can't continue to hang out with those type of people. I can't continue to do that. That is tearing me down. It's beating me up. Because I think far too often we get angry at God, at our circumstance, but we're actually the one that have chosen the scenario that we find ourselves in. And so I think the fact might be some of us are living outside of God's will for our life. So when we decide to live this life on our own effort, and in our own design, in our own purpose that we try and create, we might give up. We might. So the only way to have this depth, this deep rootedness that we're talking about, to find something deep, is like we have got to be connected in that place. That's where strength is found. You know, for us as Floridians, sometimes we experience hurricanes. I have just a little clip of a palm tree, right, in the middle of a storm. I mean, we know. That's your tree in your backyard. Like, yeah, we've seen it. We've lived it. I mean, gosh, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You and I, it's like we're in the storm, and that palm tree, boy, it is blowing, and it's blowing hard, but it's not breaking. And I just want to speak that over you. You are in the middle of a storm, and I know it is hard, and you're going, when is this going to be over? Not yet. Don't break. You're not going to break. Don't give up. Stay faithful. For me, I love to read my Bible. I love to pray. I love to pray on my knees. But, to be honest, I don't love to do that when I feel abandoned by God. Like, I don't want, there's times when I'm going through seasons in my life, I'm like, I don't want to read my Bible. No way. Like, I don't want to pray right now. And so when I do, it takes a lot of discipline. Like, I have to force myself to get to that place to say, you know what? I know that I need to do this. And I don't always get it right. I really don't. But I believe that when we do, I think that something supernatural takes place. When we lean in, something miraculous takes place. And Paul continues in that same lane in verse 18. He says, and may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love is. So God's love, it's not soft. It's not a lullaby or a Sunday smile. It's a wildfire in winter. It's a lifeline when we've already let go. God's love is that unread text that we've been ignoring, but it continues to show up every single morning. It's the Father's arms in the middle of our fall. It's the sunlight that comes through the window on a stormy day. It's a meaningful song that's played quietly underneath the chaos of our life. It's a love that doesn't flinch when our life gets messy. It doesn't run when we're angry or leave when we have doubt. That's how deep God's love is. In verse 19, he says, may you experience the love of Christ. Though it is too great to understand fully, then you will be made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God. And so Paul wants us to experience something that we can't explain. I've talked to people that have gone to places and visited different parts of the world where they see it and they go, it is just overwhelming. Like Niagara Falls or the Grand Canyon, and they go, there's just not words to describe. I know for me, one time we had the opportunity to climb Mauna Kea, which is a dormant volcano, and it's like 14 million feet up, and you're up at the top. The oxygen is thinner, and we went during the evening, so we got to watch the sunset on the west as darkness began to climb in the east, and you see all the stars begin to light up the sky. And we were so high that we were above the clouds. It was amazing to see this. Literally, you felt like you could reach out and touch the stars. You just are so close. And it's from horizon to horizon. It was indescribable. And so to know the love of God is more than just information. It's more, the love of Christ, it surpasses the knowledge that we have. And we can't let the limitations of our mind prevent us from walking in all that God has for us, walking in his love and his goodness. I mean, the only way that we can be full of God is when we allow him to transform us, where he pours out his overwhelming feelings of love for us, and we just receive it, and we just accept it.